Welcome everyone to the latest installment of the CMTC 20 Virtual Shifts Happen follow-up webinars from our wonderful solution partners. And today I'm really thrilled to bring our platinum sponsor Creative Education Foundation. They will be presenting Designing Dread-Free Virtual Classes, which I know we could all really use right now. Our presenters this afternoon will be Beth Slazak, who's the Manager of Education and Events at Creative Education Foundation. And we also have Missy Carvin, who is the Manager of Programs and Sales from Creative Education Foundation. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and kick everything over to them and take it away, Missy and Beth.
Good morning, good day. I don't know what time you're watching this. We're glad to have you. The first thing that we want to do is share a video with you that we will be using later on. So Missy, do you have that video? Yes, you do.
I do. I'm all queued up. There's no sound, you're not missing the sound, but keep an eye out for types of Zoomers or virtual learners that you may have seen over the last year or so. I really almost brought 2 drinks to my desk just for that bit.
That one's my favorite.
Mm-hmm. This one's always me. All right.
So those all probably look familiar, and we're going to use that information later on in our session. But the first thing we want to share with you is that Missy and I work in a community that relies on the phrase borrowing generously very heavily. And we would encourage you to borrow generously anything that you see, any way we handle information, any of these activities today in your classroom or any meetings, because that's the whole point, is that we learn and grow from each other. The other thing that we wanted to let you know is some of this stuff may seem basic to you because you're super advanced. However, you might be next to somebody who's like, I wondered how they did that. And now it's gotten to a point where I'm afraid to ask because, you know, over a year in now, and it seems like you should know this and everybody else knows this, but if you're afraid to ask, this session may answer that question for you. I got an itchy nose. So today's agenda is we're going to take you through 3 key aspects of virtual facilitating that will create space for great learning online. So we're going to look at setting up for success, all the prep that needs to be done, purposeful play, because engaging in play is the same as engaging in learning, and virtual to the max, and then Q&A time if you're going to have to email us those questions, I guess, unless Kimber has any questions for us today.
So one thing to keep in mind is that failure, we believe, is not an end. That's for you as a learner, you as a teacher, for your students. When students or adults fail, it just simply means that they've tried something that is new and unfamiliar. And we think that deserves like major snaps. That needs to be praised. And it is a core aspect of growth mindset. Attempts are the yet. And that's how we go from yet, not yet, I don't know it yet, to I've got it. So Beth and I both have an improv theater background, and you'll notice that throughout this recording, we like to celebrate failure, particularly by taking a failure bow, which is when you realize that you have done something wrong, or maybe not done something quite right, that you give it like your best, most dramatic failure bow. So please, at any time when you say, oh, I don't know how to do that, or I didn't do that right, or I want to try that again, give yourself a moment to take that little failure bow and move right on along.
So the first thing that we want to talk about is setting up for success. You're out of classroom. Virtual learning now is a whole family activity. Parents and other grown-ups may need to be able to access information. There's things that you want them to have. And so this looks at like your landing page. Does your landing page still list fun fall activities? And now it's April. Updating your landing page is the first place that people who don't know what they don't know are going to go to. So they need that information. And this is where parents can find out about assignments or links, information. They'll need that space to go to because they don't know where else to look first. And their kids, their children may not have the information, that they may not be able to share the information that they have been told. They have been told this and they've completely forgotten it.
I may have asked my 14-year-old this morning to set aside some time this afternoon to show me her learning management system that she's been using for 14 months.
So for this, engagement starts early. Communication is key. And telling people information once is never enough. You know that as educators, one touch to the information does not equal ownership of the information. So things to remember in a virtual world, you need to be extra explicit in how people should show up, where work needs to be held. Is it Canvas or is it Google Class? And do not assume, because this has been true since last March, that they still remember and know how to do this, or that they will find that. Also, like the information of how to get the links to sessions or where information is held, send that information more than once and have a universal space where all links always live all the time. Next, think about pre-work that you can send to your students, different sponge activities that prime the brain pump to get them going. Think about things that are related to your topic that will pique their interest and get them coming in hot for your class. Quizzes, videos, articles, any of these things work. Pro tip, short and funny works the best, more likely to do it, just like us. If we sent you 17 pages of information to review before the session, you'd be like, oh yeah, I totally do that. What we normally send people is that little video clip of what kind of Zoomer are you. It's kind of funny, it's short, and it gets you thinking about how you behave on camera, which is really the point of our whole session. This is a good time to send stuff out in the evenings. Do you know about Boomerang? Boomerang is something that you can add onto your Gmail, so you can set things up to go out at a specific time and place, so you don't actually have to do it. It's all done ahead of time. It works via magic and algorithms that it keeps you look engaged at a time when you don't need to be engaged. Sending out emails via Boomerang for tomorrow's lessons, also including parents on these. So it's fantastic if it's also something that they can watch and participate in so that they can prep to be your support staff, because that's what we're looking at now. And remember, people don't read emails, so things need to be sent out more than once, especially if it's at the end of an email, maybe calling that out ahead of time. Scroll to the bottom. That's a no man's land on emails for adults and definitely for children. So remember, if you had wanted an easy job, you would have been like a CEO or something. You instead chose to be a hero, and it's just harder work to be a hero. And then consider different ways to engage your students. You'll want to plan engagement opportunities for like every 5 to 10 minutes for optimum attention keeping. And these don't need to be huge things, but just things to switch their focus and their attention. It helps fight that Zoom-xhaustion, and it helps keep them pulled back in thinking, so they're on. So things like journaling, provocative poll questions, photo assignments, adding a hashtag, why not? Scavenger hunts, videos, any ideas like that keep them engaged, doing something different, and they can be very, very quick.
So speaking of something that's quick and is a way to get folks onto camera because they need to be on camera to participate. You know, Beth and I, over the course of the last 14 months, have gotten really into yoga, particularly hashtag yoga with Adrienne. We love her. She doesn't know she's our best friend, but she is. And this is not that. This is improv yoga. And the way that improv yoga works is we're going to make up a pose. They're just all made up. Whatever you do is right. Everybody else copies that pose. And then when it's been long enough, you release the group with namaste and then call on the next person. So Beth and I will go back and forth a couple times. I'm going to stop sharing so you can see. But hey, Beth, what pose am I going to do to warm us up here?
Missy, would you please do the "my son can't find his shoes and we need to get outside right now" pose?
Okay, my son can't find his shoes and we need to get outside right now pose. Namaste. Namaste. Hey, Beth, would you please, I love Kimra's reaction. Would you please show us the coffee grounds got in my coffee pose?
Namaste.
Namaste.
Hey, Missy, would you please show somebody has responded to the email for looking for information that was in the email that they're responding to?
Sure. Namaste. Hey, Beth, would you show us the late spring thunderstorm turned all the lights out pose?
Namaste.
So that's just a fun little activity. It's a great little warm up for the start of a class or an energizer in the middle. It really encourages, again, it encourages everybody to be on screen and participate, and also getting a little physical just sort of changes how you are thinking about things. So we love that one. And we have used that more than once during virtual sessions.
Most sessions have that. That's also great alternative assessment. Like your poses can be related to your content. You know, show me the hypotenuse.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to actually physically really relate to the information, but it just gets them thinking about it while they're moving. So as Missy said, we firmly believe in purposeful play. We have used all of these activities in workshops with children and adults. Even high school students need time to be active and to be engaged. And a playful learning environment is an engaged, student-led, curriculum-centered environment that helps them feel empowered and engaged. So as we said before, many of these aspects tap into all of our senses, which tap into deeper learning. So that we call that making learning stickier. So we put in as many of these as we can, and we encourage you to do that also. Hitting on multiple senses helps make the information deeper and have more of an ownership for these students.
So one of those multiple sensory get out of your seat and do something activities that we really love is a good old fashioned scavenger hunt. So Beth and I are going to challenge ourselves to go find and bring back one thing we can see, one thing we can hear, and one thing we can touch that is related to our area of content. So in this case, that would be virtual learning. And we're gonna give bonus points for something you can smell and or taste. So Beth, you have a minute and a half. Go. Something you can see, something you can hear, and something you can touch that's related to our content area. No here. Did you find stuff?
I did. Some of it is very deep and metaphorical.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go first because I'm still looking for something I can
Alright.
hear.
So see and touch, I have this chicken, and it's related to our learning because it's actually a thumb drive. And for virtual learning, having documents and other information at my fingertips is valuable.
Love that.
Something that we can hear is my super cute little stapler that I love because I can keep it in my bag. And it's making our information stickier. You want it to stick to other information.
Mhm.
And then this one's a chocolate bar with caramel, because sessions can run smooth as caramel, or maybe it's gonna go like dark. You don't know.
A little dark, like some nice dark chocolate. All right, so I found something I can see are these lovely sunglasses, the finest that the Dollar Tree had to offer. And these are for those, you know, I've been staring at my computer all day headaches. These are a little tension relieving for that. Something I can hear is my marker bag, because just because we're learning virtually doesn't mean I can't still take fun notes and fill up my notebook. And then something I can touch is also something I can smell, and it's this like amazing Bath and Body Works rose scented hand cream, because your hands get really like dry typing all darn day. So there, I found 3 things. Something you can see, something you can hear, and something you can touch that's related. We love this, particularly for classroom learning, because oh my goodness, you can scaffold it so many ways. There are so many levels. If you have early readers, have them go find things that start with the letter B or whatever, you know, phonetic or visual letter you're working on right now. For middle grades, go find something that contains water, and bonus points if you have water in more than one state of matter. So like I have ice water right here. Go find something with a right angle, or you know what, for high schoolers, go find something that represents the French Revolution. The good thing is all answers are right, as long as they can justify why this Lego tower I built really looks a lot like a guillotine. Like, accept it and move on. And it's fantastic, because no matter what it is that you're teaching and no matter what grade you're doing, getting students up, moving, learning, and now thinking very metaphorically is really, really impactful as a way to really build that learning. And I realized I didn't actually put up the scavenger hunt slide. So there you go. These are the instructions we gave for this particular one. We will give our emails at the end, and if you think of other ways to do scavenger hunts, please let us know, because we know we love them. So yeah.
Yeah, and we'll share that with other teachers.
Yes, we
So,
will.
Beautiful thing about Scavenger Hunt, this is another thing, we're looking so much for feedback from students, having them engaged, and verbal feedback is our most basic. And there are certain age groups that are just not going to talk. So having mechanisms for that to take the optionality away and can be really powerful for them. So set up a way if they want to participate. So possibly like the thumbs up reaction if you're using Zoom. One of our favorite ones that we saw somebody use is you would type in a code word into chat, and you can see on the screen that there's a little banana because that was the word they said. If you had typed in banana, then they knew that you wanted to respond. This is a great time that you can use it as an alternative assessment. Give the cause of X war, or share the reason why such and such scientific process happens. You can also save chat to use to track participation if that's something that you need to grade and verify. Also, definitely virtual lends it's harder for students to just like participate. So you need to call people out, and that, hey, Missy, can you share something about the last activity, is going to be the best way to get her to participate. Remember, if you have a muted classroom rule, to re-mute students when they're done speaking, especially if somebody else is going to be speaking next, because that one speaker at a time rule is super in effect on virtual platforms because of the way that the mics will get hijacked if I'm talking and Missy has a gorilla run through her office, that noise is going to make me choppy or make it so that you can't hear. And also, when you need to have everybody to share, or when you're sending people into breakout rooms, include detailed instructions to determine how people are going to go first. And this is great to get less likely to speak people going. Like, let's go in birth date order. We're going to start with January 1st. It's completely open, and it doesn't put anybody as on the spot, and it helps to eliminate that I know that Missy's going now and I'm going next, so I'm going to think about what I need to say instead of listening to what Missy is saying.
Yeah. And remember, like, SEL doesn't stop. Social emotional learning does not stop just because we're in a virtual classroom. We absolutely need to care for the way that our students are learning. And everybody gets burnt out. Everybody gets a little bit of Zoom-xhaustion. So you're going to hear us say over and over again that those brain breaks are actually really critical for the learning. So here's a really low risk and kind of silly way to do a little social emotional check-in. It is allergy season, both where Beth lives and where I live. So we are each muting ourselves just to sneeze. It's great. So a little quick brain break is to grab a piece of paper and a pen or a marker, put the paper on top of your head, and draw a picture of how you're feeling right now. The best part is this is super quick and it doesn't take long, and they're always terrible and have the best drawer in the room, and their picture is going to be just as awful as the kid next to them. Hey, I actually did it. So, and then you have everybody show. Mine says, I actually spelled a chew.
I've got a runny nose and runny eyes, and
yeah, you do. Mine's sneezing.
Is Kleenex. That's exactly. I'm certain you recognize that.
I did recognize that.
Obvious.
That was amazing.
So becoming a virtual facilitation educator is challenging. But if you set yourself up for success, find ways to incorporate purposeful play and create opportunities to take virtual to the max, you'll be a Jedi in no time. In case you didn't pick this up before in the session, we believe that you should enjoy most of your job and that you should laugh whenever you can. And this is hard and you're nailing it. We are so proud of you. So continue to play, have practice sessions for you to play with technology. If you're still fairly new to teaching like this, so much changes now week to week, which is great. Also, it's changing. So feel free, like a lot of people don't think about this, but set up a session where you record yourself just so that you can see what things look like and sound like, so that you know for future.
We do that, and then we both cringe at the sound of our own voice. So if that happens to you, you are not alone. Just to let you know, this is one of many things that Creative Education Foundation offers. And we are so excited specifically to tell you all about our Creative Problem Solving Institute, which will be virtual again this year. It takes place over 3 weeks, and there's anywhere from 3 to 6 sessions a day. It's very much come as you catch as catch can. Everything is recorded. So if you register, everything will be there, for you to watch later as well. And so we love when teachers are able to come to the Creative Problem Solving Institute, which is also called CPSI, CPSI. That predates us. We didn't do that. And then we have other workshops for everyone that happen on many of them on a monthly basis, but there's always stuff going on at Creative Education Foundation. And one of our favorites is the Purposeful Creativity with Children, which is for parents, educators, grandparents, anybody who works with small people who might want to help them be a little more creative on purpose.
So from Missy and I and the entirety of the Creative Education Foundation, we are so grateful that we were able to spend this time with you. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. We're wildly delightful, and we are willing to talk to you about anything that we've done that you've got questions on. We'll respond via email or even set up a Zoom call if you've got any questions we can help with more. Please let us know.
So Kimra will, I'm sure, put our emails in the description on the YouTube link. But in case you're watching and not able to do that, our emails are long. But not hard to figure out. It's mcarvin at creativeeducationfoundation.org and
B Slazak, Slazak. Yes, I married a Polish man. B Slazak at creativeeducationfoundation.org.
So just have to spell all those words out and you've got it. But otherwise, we would love to hear from you, and we look forward to getting your questions and your feedback on this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us today.